Most people believe being nice is a virtue without a shadow, but psychology tells a more complicated story. Sometimes the nicest person in the room is also the most resentful, the most overlooked, or the most quietly frustrated. Niceness is often praised. It is rewarded in childhood, encouraged in school, and admired in the workplace. Yet beneath constant agreeableness, there can be suppressed anger, fear of rejection, and a fragile sense of self-worth. By the end of this, you will understand why overly nice behavior develops, what happens in the brain when someone prioritizes approval over authenticity, and how this pattern quietly shapes relationships, careers, and self-respect. To be clear, kindness is healthy. Genuine warmth strengthens bonds and builds trust. The dark side emerges when niceness becomes a strategy rather than a reflection of character. Many people learn early that love and safety are conditional. Approval comes when they behave well, stay quiet, avoid conflict, and keep others happy. Over time, the brain links compliance with security. The nervous system relaxes when others are pleased. This conditioning runs deep. When a child senses tension in the home, they may become the peacemaker. They read moods carefully, they soften their voice, they avoid expressing needs that might create friction. The brain begins to associate self-suppression with stability. As adults, this pattern continues automatically. You may notice it in small moments. Someone asks for a favor when you are exhausted and you say yes anyway. A colleague takes credit for your idea and you let it slide. A partner crosses a boundary and you minimize your discomfort. On the surface, this looks generous. Internally, it often feels heavy. Why does this happen? Because the brain is wired to avoid social rejection. Social exclusion activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. When someone with a nice personality senses possible disapproval, their threat system activates. Instead of fighting or fleeing, they appease. Appeasement is a survival strategy. It reduces tension quickly, but it comes at a cost. Over time, suppressed frustration accumulates. The body keeps score. You may feel fatigue, irritability, or emotional numbness without understanding why. Resentment grows quietly, even toward people you care about. Have you ever felt angry at someone for something you agreed to? That is the paradox of unhealthy niceness. You volunteer for your own discomfort, then feel unappreciated when others accept what you offered. Another hidden layer is identity. Many people build their entire self-concept around being the nice one. They're the reliable friend, the understanding partner, the easy employee. This identity feels safe because it guarantees a role, but it also traps you. When your worth depends on being agreeable, disagreement feels dangerous. Assertiveness feels selfish. Boundaries feel like betrayal. The nervous system reacts as if you're risking connection simply by expressing a preference. In relationships, this dynamic creates imbalance. The overly nice partner often becomes the emotional caretaker. They anticipate needs, smooth conflicts, and apologize quickly. At first, this seems ideal, but intimacy requires honesty, not constant accommodation. When one person hides their true feelings to preserve harmony, authenticity fades. The relationship may look calm on the surface, but depth is missing. Eventually, suppressed needs surface as passive resistance, subtle sarcasm, or emotional withdrawal. This is where the dark side becomes visible. Consider this question carefully. When you are kind, is it coming from generosity or from fear of how someone might react if you are not? There's a surprising insight here. People who are excessively nice are not always selfless. Sometimes they are highly attuned to how they are perceived. Their behavior is shaped by impression management. They want to be seen as good. This doesn't make them manipulative, it makes them anxious about rejection, but the outcome can still distort relationships. Others may sense the lack of firmness and unconsciously take more space. Human dynamics often respond to strength and clarity. When someone consistently defers, others may step into decision-making roles automatically. Over time, power imbalances form. In the workplace, this can limit growth. The person who avoids conflict may struggle to negotiate salary, advocate for promotion, or challenge unfair treatment. They become dependable but invisible. Have you ever watched someone less qualified advance faster simply because they were more assertive? Niceness without boundaries can quietly sabotage ambition. From a neurological perspective, people-pleasing activates reward circuits in the brain. When someone smiles at you approvingly, dopamine is released. The brain registers that approval as a positive reinforcement. This makes the behavior addictive. You say yes, they smile, you feel relief. The cycle repeats. But reliance on external validation weakens internal authority. Decisions become guided by anticipated reactions rather than personal values. Over time, you may lose clarity about what you actually want. This is the hidden erosion, not dramatic conflict, but gradual disconnection from self. Another subtle pattern appears in conflict avoidance. Many nice personalities believe that avoiding disagreement preserves relationships. In reality, unspoken tension often creates more distance than honest dialogue. When issues are never addressed, trust erodes quietly. The other person may not even realize something is wrong. They sense a shift but cannot name it. Silence replaces sincerity. There is also the issue of authenticity. Humans are highly sensitive to incongruence. If someone smiles while suppressing frustration, microexpressions in tone often reveal it. Others may feel confused or unsettled without knowing why. Genuine kindness feels grounded. Fear-based niceness feels fragile. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. If you stopped being agreeable tomorrow, who would stay? This question reveals the difference between relationships built on mutual respect and those built on compliance. It is important to understand that the solution is not to become harsh or confrontational. The goal is integration. True psychological maturity combines warmth with strength. You can be kind and still say no. You can be empathetic and still disagree. You can care deeply without sacrificing self-respect. Boundaries are not barriers, they are clarity. When you set a boundary calmly, your nervous system may initially react with anxiety. You may fear disappointing someone. But over time, your brain learns that honesty does not equal abandonment. Confidence grows through repetition. There is another surprising insight. People often respect those who respect themselves. When you communicate limits clearly, others adjust. They may test them at first, but consistency reshapes expectations. Strength does not eliminate kindness, it protects it. Consider social dynamics. The person who never expresses preference becomes difficult to know. "I'm fine with anything" sounds easygoing, but it also removes individuality. Depth requires distinct perspective. Connection deepens when both people show up fully. The dark side of nice personalities is not that they are kind, it's that they sometimes disappear. They disappear into other people's needs, into maintaining peace, into protecting image. And in doing so, they quietly abandon themselves. The irony is that true acceptance comes from authenticity, not performance. When you allow yourself to express discomfort respectfully, you create space for real intimacy. You stop negotiating your worth through approval. Imagine how your life would shift if your kindness came from choice rather than fear. If you helped because you wanted to, not because you felt obligated. If you spoke honestly without apologizing for existing. That version of niceness feels different. It feels calm, not tense. It feels generous, not resentful. The next time you feel the automatic urge to agree, pause. Notice the sensation in your body. Is it openness or pressure? Is it generosity or anxiety? Small moments of awareness begin to change lifelong patterns. The goal is not to stop being kind. The goal is to become honest enough that your kindness has weight. When kindness is paired with boundaries, it commands respect. When it is paired with fear, it invites imbalance. The dark side of nice personalities reveals an important truth.
Goodness without self-assertion can become self-erasure. But when you integrate compassion with courage, something powerful happens. You no longer need approval to feel secure. You give because you choose to, not because you must. And that shift changes every relationship you have. If this perspective resonates, reflect on where you may be overextending yourself in the name of being nice. Share your thoughts and experiences. Awareness is the first step towards balanced strength. And if you value deeper psychological insights like this, consider subscribing to continue exploring the hidden patterns shaping human behavior.